bathing suits in the background of some video with a girl twerking her ass.
So I'm going to start off by saying that I agree with everything that Joey said. It clearly wasn't racism that they got up and left. They didn't want to be recorded. They didn't have consent to be recorded. And it was weird for her to call it racism. But it takes one black person to understand another black person's trauma and how rejection from white people can be easily interpreted as racism. I don't think that Joey had any racist intent, but we need to talk about how when non-black people make unmeasured responses to racism towards black people, it can facilitate safe space for racists. I also want to point out that she started twerking after they left. It had nothing to do with her twerking. Twerking is just a dance. So we're going to start with this one, and I'm also going to point out how many likes it has to show how encouraged this kind of behavior is. Black people calling out racists while being racist. The hypocrisy is on a different level. So for those of us who actually understand how racism works, we know that black people can't be racist because black people do not have systemic power to do harm to another group. Black people can definitely be bigoted. Black people can definitely misinterpret rejection from white people as racism for lack of any other explanation. But black people cannot be racist because we do not have systemic power over white people. Now we can definitely say prejudice because prejudice comes without systemic power. And this one, and I'm also going to point out the likes here. Black people always pull the race card so fucking fast. Well, maybe because the system is literally set up against black people. Mass incarceration, the reason why we can't get healthcare. I'm actually about to surprise you on the reason why we can't get healthcare. The reason why we don't have nationalized healthcare in the United States is literally because they don't want black people to have it. We have had multiple presidents try to do universal healthcare in the United States, and it's always been shut down by Congress. Pause to read, although I do suggest that you go read the whole article from yourself. This rhetoric, all the way from the 1800s, is still why we don't have healthcare in the United States. And then, of course, there are the internet black people, and we all know those internet black people, showing absolutely no semblance of being black. But as we have learned, anybody can say that they're black on the internet, right? And we shouldn't shy away from how easy it is to promote violence against black people on the internet. That violence can get people lynched in real life. Lynchings do still happen. This article is from 2020, but I definitely suggest giving it a good read. And when it comes to black people, it's totally okay for the police to decide the cause of death before they even take the bodies to the coroner. What I'm going to say is that if you're going to talk about racism, especially racism involving black people, especially racism involving black women, you need to come at it with a measured, educated response. Otherwise, you facilitate safe spaces for people like this. And we're also going to pay attention to how many likes that has. And then we're going to point out the people defending that racism when somebody calls that person out. And here's your reminder that white supremacy does not care about white people. The same measures that they use to keep black people out, they also use to keep poor white people out, because they still need poor white people for their wage slaves. If we're truly all in this together, then that means that we need to address our systemic issues with measured, careful responses.